Niners will be in Las Vegas on New Year's Day to face the Raiders. The Red Hot Niners now have won 8 games in a row after their 37-20 victory over the Washington Commanders at Levi Stadium Saturday. It was another impressive performance for rookie sensation Brock Purdy, who threw 2 touchdown passes, and another great game for the 49ers defense. Joining me now to talk more about the 49ers and their 8-game winning streak and their road to the playoffs is Stephanie Sanchez, host of the 49 Carats podcast. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
Good morning, Andre.
All right, so what stood out to you yesterday, Stephanie, about Saturday's game against the Washington Commanders?
Well, one, I thought this was going to be a huge test for Brock Purdy. The Commanders' defense are a top 10 defense, top 10 in several defensive categories. And I think in the first half, it did prove to be a challenge because Brock Purdy was just 4 of 9, 55 yards, and he did have the interception, which, I don't fault him too much for. But in the second half, the offense and the entire team just exploded. They scored 30 points in that second half, and I think that's really impressive and indicative of what this team is doing in this 8-win streak. They're riding their defense, of course, but it's really also their offense that's been just as reliable, and they've scored 30 or more points in 5 of those last 8 wins.
Yeah, everyone's focused on the defense here, but the offense really helped carry the game yesterday, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw George Kittle get loose in his last two games. He has 4 touchdowns, and that was really his best game of the season. He caught all 6 of his targets, 120 yards, and of course the 2 touchdowns. He seems to be the biggest beneficiary of Deebo Samuel being out there. And actually in 3 games with Deebo out this season, Kittle's averaging 5 targets, 64 yards, at least.
What does that say about the team has? Hopefully, we still have you there, Stephanie. Your picture froze up for a second, but I think you're back now. What does that say about the bench players of this team? I mean, we're seeing it time and time again, starting with Purdy, and now we see it with some of the other players as well. I mean, it's truly impressive to watch these bench players get up there and perform as well, right?
Yeah, they're deep all across the board. And as we saw, even Ray McCloud, who's been filling in for Deebo Samuel, got some action in there with his touchdown. And I think it just speaks also to Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and the team that they've built. I think Kyle Shanahan should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year, and John Lynch, Executive of the Year as well.
Let's go back a little bit to Brock Purdy. You mentioned to give some of the stats yesterday. He did throw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You said you didn't fault him much for that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a great throw by him. It was really just Juwan Jennings bobbling that football, and, it took an unfortunate bounce to the hands of a defender. So I don't fault him too much. I know he's had some turnover-worthy plays or plays that have gone close, but that one just didn't bounce their way. So I think Brock Purdy's playing some good football right now. And as I mentioned, in the second half, he was 11 of 12, 179 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. I think he's giving you a little bit of what Jimmy Garoppolo was giving you, but he's also giving you a little bit extra. He's great throwing on the move. He has good pocket awareness, and he's willing to push the ball downfield as well, which is given this offense a new element that they could ride into the playoffs.
What's really impressive to me is his focus on this game as being, the backup quarterback here, and he's still continued to maintain his focus even after all these games now he's been QBing. He's started for several games now. Are you impressed with the fact that he's still able to keep up the same amount of force that he had been when he got his first start just a few games ago?
Yeah, at this point, I think the sample size, while still small, is enough to say that I think this is the Brock Purdy we're going to see in the playoffs, just full of poise and confidence. And, he's, like I said, he's doing a lot with what Jimmy Garoppolo is doing. The guys are rallying behind him, and so the team has confidence in him as well. You could tell that Kyle Shanahan has confidence in him. So I think it's a great situation for this 49ers offense. And
it's obvious that the players also have confidence in them because they're really playing with them on this. Nick Bosa also having a pretty good game. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, he's been playing with his hair on fire right now. He's a man possessed, and he's ranked 2nd in pressures, tackles for loss. He also leads the league in sacks and quarterback hits, but he's also now leading the Defensive Player of the Year race, and it's not really close at the moment with his 17.5 sacks on the season. He's now 2 away from tying Aldon Smith's record, and I know he's going for that, but if we know anything about Nick Bosa, he's not just trying to tie that. he wants to make history and truly pass that.
Yeah, he's a beast on the field right now. All right. Stephanie Sanchez, host of the 49 Carats podcast. Thank you so much for your insight onto another great game, and we look forward to what happens here on New Year's Day when they play against the Raiders in Las Vegas. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
All right, same to you.